Okay, I'm going to show you the simple kit that I carry in my car to repair tires if they get punctured, be it from a screw or a nail or some object. And I think everybody should carry a simple kit so that they can do the repair. A lot of your tire shops are more they want to sell you a new tire versus doing the repair, which in most cases the repair will work just fine depending on where the puncture's at. If it's in the flat of the tire, the tread, you're fine. Obviously the sidewall you can't. Now it also should be said that you will need your car's jack that came with the vehicle to raise it up. Again, follow the directions with your car to be safe as to where to jack up the vehicle and how to do it, again, in a safe manner. Another item you should have is a small, you don't have to spend a lot of money, just a small 12 volt tire inflator. You can get those relatively reasonable. That way you can inflate the tire to the proper pressure, and that might take a little while, but having it is better than not having it. And again, be much cheaper to do it yourself and be able to do it if you're at an inconvenient place than to maybe have to have it towed or put on your spare. Even if you went home, put on your spare and went home and repaired it. It's a very simple job. First, I'll start off with what I got to hold everything, to put everything together. Now, a lot of times you buy these kits, they come with a small case, but they only hold what they give you, like maybe the repair tool and some repair plugs. But I have other things that I include in my kit, so I bought something that would work and hold everything in one little container. And the container that I'm using in this particular case, you can find whatever works for yourself, but this is what I'm using. And by the way, this brand, Sistema, I think, they're excellent. I use their little containers for a lot of things. So the first thing, when you buy a kit, you'll get the tools. And I like something that's simple, sturdy, and round like this. You can put a lot of force on it. It doesn't hurt your hand when you're putting it in the tire. This is the tool that actually would take the actual insert that goes into the tire to plug it. And then you get, with this particular kit, you got an extra insert tool. You also got a reamer to ream the hole, clean out the hole, make sure it goes all the way through. And also with this kit came a couple Allen wrenches that are used in case you're going to change the tip. Next, what comes with the kit are going to be these plugs that you actually use to fill the punctured hole. Then you have the lube, and I bought, it doesn't come with it, I bought this simple tool, valve removal tool, in case you have a bad valve. And the way that works is, here's a valve here. It simply would go over it like that. You stick this in the valve and we remove the valve core. You'd stick this into the valve on your tire when you'd air it up, and this tool would go in, capture the valve core, and you would rotate it out. A lot of times I'll remove the valve core or loosen it to allow air to escape quicker so that I can do the repair. So I do carry extra valve cores, and for those of you that are old enough or have used film, you can store them in something. I just use these Fuji. I used to use tons of Fuji film, Fujichrome, all types of either film or slide film. I kept those containers. I use them for stuff like that. And then I also like to keep extra valve caps, because you're along the side of the road, you kick it, you hit it. So I carry a couple of those. I carry 6 of these and 6 of the valve cores. Next, once you are ready to do the repair, you have to pull the nail or screw out. I think it's a good idea to have a, and there goes my chalk. I think it's a good idea to have a needle nose pliers. This is an 8-inch set from Tecton Tools. They have some really reasonable tools at a very fair price, and they have an excellent warranty policy. So I like to keep these in the kit for grabbing the nail head, screw head, and I definitely need something like that. Next, I've got a Tecton 3/16 straight blade screwdriver, and that is basically in case you need to do a little prying underneath of the nail or screw to bring it up, depending how deep it is, if you need to just lift it. So that's not a bad thing to have with you also. Next, before I pull the offending item that caused the problem, be it the screw or nail or object, I like to take this chalk and I like to mark the area, put a circle around it, a square around the object before you pull it. Because sometimes if it's small and you pull it, it's hard to see where the hole is. So when you stick the reamer in there, so I like to use chalk, and I'll carry chalk with me. That way I can use it to, again, mark around the object prior to pulling it. Okay, so once you've put the plugs in, with these particular kind that I have, they're going to stick out part way. So then you can use any kind of a blade tool. This is just a utility knife, and I'll use this just to trim just above the tire the excess off. And it doesn't hurt to have a cheaper gauge. Now I have high quality gauges also, but for this kit, if you need to have a gauge, it doesn't hurt to have, you know, a cheaper one, because you can always get the tire inflated. You can always check it again with a better gauge, but this isn't a bad gauge at all, really. And so that rounds out my kit. Now, one thing I do with these plugs, they're very sticky. Now they are in this 2 layers here, so when you pull one off, but just for the heck of it, what I like to do is I'll stick those in a sealed thing like this, and then put that in here, so that way if for some reason you don't get all that sticky stuff on your, if something should happen with that, on any of your objects in there. Likewise with my chalk, since it'll be in the vehicle, you know, in this container, and maybe bouncing around over time, I like to put it also in a bag like this, and then that way it won't cause any issues. And lastly, I will have a spare bag that I keep in here, because when you do the repair, the plug being really sticky, the material that it is, and when you put it into the insertion tool end will be dirty, and until I get home, if I am away from the house, I will put that tip in here, the end, before I stick it in this container. That way I'm not transferring all that sticky stuff from the tool, from the plug when it was inserted. And And we just, a nice neat little container here to keep your tire repair kit, puncture kit. And obviously I also like to have on hand hand cleaner, which I keep in the side door, a little hand cleaner with cloth so you can clean your hands.